This is the character for fat. At first, it probably looks like a random collection of strokes, but it isn't random. And once you understand why it's written this way, Chinese characters become much easier to remember. Most students are taught to think of Chinese characters as pictures. And to be fair, the earliest characters did begin that way. But if that's all you're taught, you miss out on the deeper logic behind how Chinese characters developed. The thing is, pictures only get you so far. The writing system had to do more than label what people could see. It had to be able to write down ideas that couldn't be drawn. One way of doing this was, instead of just drawing things, new characters were built out of existing ones. So a person leaning against a tree became the character for rest. A woman and her child became good. The sun and the moon, the two brightest things in the sky, became bright. You can even create a character for warm by putting water in a dish under the sun. That made writing more flexible, but it could only go so far. Language expands fast, and most of what we need to say can't be drawn. If every new word needed a completely unique symbol, the system could never keep up. Something more powerful was needed. The breakthrough idea was this: create characters not by combining meanings, but by combining meaning with sound. Say we need to create a character for the word lake. We start with an existing character that has the same sound, and then add the character for water to hint at the meaning. We can also add the character for fire to get the character for burned. Or we can add the character for rice to create the character for paste, or the character for insect to get the character for butterfly. This is what made the system manageable. Instead of thousands of unrelated symbols, characters could be built from reusable pieces. The part that carries the meaning is what we now call a radical. It doesn't give you the definition, but it gets you in the ballpark. The water radical, usually something to do with water. The flesh and meat radical, usually connected to the body. The heart radical, often related to emotion or thought. The hand radical, some kind of action. Each one is a clue. Once you know them, it becomes easier to see how a character is put together. Now, let's go back to this character. The meaning part makes sense now. The meat radical means it's connected to the body. That fits. But the sound part seems broken. That's due to something linguists call phonetic drift. Over time, sounds shift, not randomly, in patterns. Let's see how this happens. We start with just the sound part. Add the person radical, you get companion, still pronounced the same. Add the hand radical, you get mix. No change yet. But add the field radical, and now the sound shifts. The B becomes P. These kinds of shifts happen between sounds that are closely related. The types of sounds that beginners often have trouble hearing or saying correctly. They happen at the end of words too, which is why when we add the meat radical, we get that final shift. And just like that, a character that looked completely arbitrary starts to make sense. That's what this system gives you. Instead of a series of strokes to memorize, you start seeing characters as combinations of sound and meaning components. It doesn't work for every character. Languages are full of exceptions and historical quirks. So yes, you still have to memorize. But this makes it a lot easier. Most importantly, this changes how you should study. To put this into practice, follow these 3 rules. First, start with the building blocks. There's no alphabet in Chinese, but there is a small set of core characters that appear again and again. Many of them look almost identical at first, but they are completely different. And that matters, because many of these basic characters are also the radicals we talked about earlier. So you're learning the characters that will be helping you make sense of what comes later. Second, use the sound system to your advantage. Group characters by shared sound components so that each character reinforces the others. A textbook might introduce these characters in completely different chapters, and presented that way, they look like 5 unrelated characters. But when you learn them together, the pattern jumps out at you. They all share the same sound component. The only difference is the radical, which changes the meaning. So you're not memorizing 5 separate characters. You're learning one pattern with 5 variations. That makes this approach really useful, even when you run into exceptions. The final rule: deal with confusion head-on. Some characters look similar even though they're completely unrelated. Study them side by side from the start, and you cut the confusion off before it sets in. Following these rules won't make Chinese characters easy, but they will make them a lot less overwhelming. And that's the point. Now, if you're ready to start studying characters this way and you want to dive straight in, we've already done the organizing for you. The Rememberit app has 3,500 Chinese characters already organized using this exact method. You can click the video above to watch a full walkthrough, or use the link in the description to download the app and get started. One final note: for a long time, students treated Chinese characters as optional. They just wanted to learn how to speak Chinese. But these days, it's a text-first world. If you can't read, you're missing the conversation. So don't put it off. You now understand how the system actually works, and that changes everything. It really is easier than you think. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your characters.